Welcome to Jen Cares, powered by Chozen Live Podcast. Here we engage in tough talks and meaningful conversations. Each week, we feature a guest that will help us stay in the know. We're a podcast that brings the community to you every Monday at 8 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, be sure to like and follow our page. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe so that you never miss a show. Now, here's your host, Jen Cares.
Well, good evening and welcome to Jen Cares, powered by Chozen Counselors. I am your host, Jen Cares, the founder of Chozen Counselors, a nonprofit organization that seeks to inspire, motivate, empower, and strengthen individuals and families. As always, I want to say thank you so much to each and every one of you for tuning in, for commenting, for liking, and coming back again. I do appreciate you. Be sure to like and follow us if you're watching on Facebook so that you know every time we go live. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe so you know every time we drop a new episode. Friends, I do hope that you have enjoyed this month's theme, Live, Laugh, Love, and Learn. When you're living this thing called life, the hope is that you do live, okay? Because life be life, but you want to be able to enjoy the highs and the lows of it all. Make sure that you do live, whatever that looks like for you. We want to make sure that we laugh. Today we were laughing in a meeting. They said it's not funny. It was like, it's not, but we got to laugh to keep from crying. Sometimes you too have to laugh to keep from crying. And sometimes you get to laugh and have a good chuckle and tears may come. We want to love. We might have some broken hearts through it all, but it's nothing like having an experience of love. And lastly, we want to make sure that we learn something new from that experience. So either we can do it again or we don't do it again and stay clear. But that's that thing about life. We want to live, laugh, love, and learn. Special thanks to the guests that have joined us this month. On the first Monday of the month, we did Trauma is Real, and yours truly was the host and the guest to share about how trauma really is real. And today I was challenged to do a couple of more of those where it's just a me chat with my friends. I'm working on it. Then we had the amazing George Turner GT for Good Vibes. Again, he is the MVP. He shared so much and made sure we got views and things of that sort. And people were inspired by his interview. So we're grateful to George for tuning in for Good Vibes. Friends, the little things add up. So keep on going. Last week we had I Understood the Assignment with Toya Marshall, T. Marche. She talks about that faith in fashion and how it was twofold and what it is that she does to be able to help somebody else. Friends, are you challenging yourself to step out of the box? She did a good job. If you missed any of those episodes, be sure to go and catch them on YouTube or right here on Facebook, depending on which platform you are watching on. Before we get into our episode tonight, we want to also share, because it is what? Black History Month. That's right. So the person that we honor today is Dr. Inez. Dr. Inez was the first African-American woman to receive her doctoral degree in psychology. After graduating from high school, she completed a teaching certification and taught in the Texas segregated school systems. She received her Bachelor of Arts in Education in 1924 and her Master's in Educational Psychology from the University of Colorado. Prosser accepted faculty and administrative positions before deciding to pursue her doctorate. In 1933, she graduated from the University of Cincinnati with her PhD in educational psychology. Her dissertation, The Non-Academic Development of the Negro Children in Mixed and Segregated Schools, received much acknowledgement. Her findings revealed that Black students benefited more in segregated schools because they were more likely to receive affection, support, and a balanced curriculum versus an integrated school where they were likely to have problems adjusting academically, socially, and in accepting their identity. So today we honor, for Black History Month, Dr. Inez Beverly Prosser, the first African-American female to be a psychologist and therapist. Last week we talked about the first gentleman, and we wanted to close out with the first African-American woman because we are moving into March, which will be Women's History Month. So again, today we honor Dr. Inez for our Black History Spotlight. All right, friends, let's get into it. I done got everything out the way. Y'all ready? Put your seatbelts on. It's about to be good. Tonight, we have some amazing friends joining us. We have Byron and Margaret McKie, and I am really, really excited because they're going to talk to us about walk it out. And I know you're like, what does that mean? Well, friends, you got to stay tuned so that you can find out as we welcome Byron and Margaret McKie. Woo!
Ooh,
Good evening.
Evening. Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Thank you for saying yes. I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Are you
Absolutely.
having a good day today?
Yes.
It's a typical Monday. Um, full disclosure, it's close to my bedtime.
Got it. We're
we
going to keep it rolling.
we winding down, but I'm good. I'm
Yes.
good.
Yeah. Yes. What is your time frame? Where are you?
We're Eastern.
Okay.
We're
So it's
Eastern.
8 here. So it's
It's eight. It's
Yes,
8
8
here.
here.
Eastern. Sorry.
Same
On
time.
the border of South Carolina and Georgia.
Okay.
But I teach, and really I get up early. He gets up even earlier, but I'm always the one that's like at 9 o'clock. I'm like, okay, it's time to wind down and time to get ready for bed because I have to have my sleep.
I understand. Now I'm a night owl, but I've been learning it. Jennifer, when you're tired, take it to sleep, okay?
Yes,
Yes.
It just makes you have a better day the next day.
absolutely.
But I understand. Sleep is very important. It's very
Absolutely.
important, friends. Make sure we're sleeping.
That's right.
It's important for those around me as well that I'm well rested.
Byron said, I'm just going to look forward and laugh.
I work shift work, so what is sleep?
Right.
Yeah, I got you. He said, yeah. But again, it definitely does benefit those around us and ourselves because when we are sleeping, we could be, it could bother us just a little bit. So again, friends, get sleep as needed.
That's right.
But let's get into it. Here at Chosen Counselors, well, Jen cares, we always start with a quote of the day. And today's quote of the day is, what comes easy won't last long. And what lasts long won't come easy. Francis Conk. Again, what comes easy won't last long. And what lasts long won't come easy. What are your thoughts on that quote?
What are your thoughts on that?
If it comes like that, you will not respect it. I refer to going back to people who choose the criminal lifestyle. They get something easy, they rob somebody. It's quick, so they don't respect it. When you work for your money and when you put in blood, sweat, and tears, you respect it more.
I definitely, and then anything we like to. One thing that we're trying to dispel is the idea that marriage has to be this hard thing.
Yes.
And we want it to be an ease, but it takes hard work to get to that ease.
Exactly.
So no, it's something that I think that especially at this point, it's no longer a really difficult thing day to day. We did the hard work in the beginning to get to this point of ease.
And it's going to be hard work in the beginning. Always.
Absolutely.
It's always interesting when I talk to couples and they share that it's hard work because I was talking to some single bachelors and they were asking, when you think of relationships and marriage and things, what comes to mind? And I was saying work. And they was like, oh, no, what are you saying? If you want to be in that thing, you got to put the work in, right?
Yes.
So then they're going back and forth and that's why I was like, all right, you believe what you believe. Then they said it takes effort.
Yeah.
Y'all got in an argument with me? A synonym of work?
Right, absolutely. Right.
Right. Yes.
Well, I thank you for your honesty is what I'm saying. Because it takes some commitment on somebody's part.
Right.
Because I'm sure you don't always get your way. It seems nice. It'd be nice. But is it really realistic to always get our way? We have to give and take a little bit,
And the theme of the topic, walk it out.
Yes.
Once you start that journey, you never know where it's going to take you if you stop.
Yeah.
And so for like I said in the beginning, there was hard work or there was effort that had to be put in. But the goal was, we're putting this work in, we're putting forth this effort because we're going to last, we're going to be successful. And so we're going to walk it out and see it through. We just have to get to a point to where we're doing that together in tandem versus going against each other.
Yeah. Yes. And I'm sort of a car fanatic, so I'm going to use a lot of car analogies. But you get in your car and you're driving, you don't always drive straight. There's some left turns, there's some right turns. You might have to turn around, make a U-turn to get to your destination. So there's always going to be obstacles, and you just learn how to hurdle those obstacles, and eventually you get to learn to smoothly go over the hills.
Yeah. This is what our children have heard throughout.
I love it. If you live in Philadelphia, you have what you call potholes too. It could be a death hole depending on which street you're on. So in that too, you got to learn how to navigate those because you go too fast and hurt you.
Right.
I like it. I like analogies. Keep on coming.
Well, you like them, but you talk about confusion. When one of the kids, they're in trouble and I'm sitting there getting on to him, and then he comes in talking about, if you keep going straight, you're going to hit something. You got to turn at some point.
In time, you have to turn. You can't just drive straight all your life. You got to take a left. You got to take a right. I mean, that's just.
So at that point, the babies were more confused than anything. But
once they started driving, they got it.
They stopped the behavior, and I guess that was the point.
Once they started driving, they got it. Yeah, I got to make a left turn.
Got it. All right, so we got to just make our parables, just make sure that everybody can relate to them and understand what we're saying. I'm glad they figured them out. Better late than never, right?
That's right. That's right.
So, friends, as always, I have prepared some questions to help guide tonight's topic. But if you have any questions or comments, be sure to drop them down below. And also, as shared, we first started talking about how trauma is real because we always going to talk about mental health. Then we talked about that good vibes, having some good times. Last week, understanding the assignment. But today, we're going to talk about walk it out because the theme is that live, laugh, love, and learn. And sometimes we were ready to quit on some things.
That's right.
And my friends here tonight is going to help encourage us that we put in some work so we don't have to quit. When it comes to relationships. So y'all ready?
Yes.
Here we go. So how long have you guys been married?
26 years as of December 13th, 2023.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How easy would you rate having such a long-term relationship that's continuing to grow and thrive and things?
The fact that her and I were friends for 5 to 6 years before we actually united to finally make the unification. So we knew each other somewhat. We just never lived together. And so when the earlier years before we got together, she was in college and I was in my world. And we would reconnect like every so often, and it would just be like we just picked up where we left off every time. And when our lives got to the point where she was in the situation and I was in the situation and we were both like by ourselves, and we was just like, I don't even think we just started hanging.
We went from hanging out as friends to hanging out as a couple.
Yeah, pretty much.
And honestly, I think that you ask, how the longevity of it. And it sounds a little bit cliche, but for us, it rings true. It gets better each year.
Yes, it does.
And sometimes I sit and I'm like, wow, we were best friends when we got married. We were happy. We were typical newlyweds. Not saying that everything over the years was perfect, but each step of the way, I felt like I could not love him more, or I could not like him more. And it just continues to grow. But it comes with making sure that we're checking in and keeping the partner first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. In the beginning, I'm going to recap a little bit of parts that I want to highlight just a little bit. You said that you knew each other, but you never lived together. What kind of difference was that, do you feel?
Well, the difference was, coming from us both having homes. And when I say homes, live with our parents.
Right.
And, we both had experiences living on our own in different formalities, whether it was college or, adulthood. I'm going to get me a roommate, things like that. But living together, it was an experience in itself, but it helped us to learn to grow. Now, us living together brought on a child. It's funny because we became, well, she became pregnant, and we were what, 22, 23
when we had him.
Yeah,
we
when
were
we had
22
him.
and 23,
and we beat him by a week. So
we got married,
we got
and
married
had
one
him.
Saturday, and he was born the following Saturday. But during that process, I was working, she was pregnant, so we just kind of stepped in our roles. I always had a respect for her, regardless of anything. And so I was like, I'm just going to do what I have to do as a man to take care of her, whatever she needs. And that's just the idea that I've had from day one, and I've kept that idea. Whatever she needs, I'm going to take care of her. And once we had children, then that was the idea. I got to take care of them now.
I like it. You said that you went from friends to then being a couple. And I talk with a lot of different couples, and some, feel like they're friends. Some feel like they are best friends. I'm hoping that it's somewhere on that friend line, because you want to like the person at the end of the day, right?
Absolutely.
How important is it to be friends? I want to highlight that part because with walking it out with our relationships, it's all different types of relationships that, we could, highlight. And some you may live with the person, some you may not, some you may be so close underneath and you feel like you're all living like, can I breathe? With best friends and close friends and things of that sort. But how important is that friendship level in building relationships with others and yourselves?
So for us, there are two things that we focus on. And one is we're best friends.
Yes.
And we mean that in every sense of the word. We have some likes, some things in he talked about cars. He likes to work on cars. I like cars. So we have that in common. We have music in common. And one thing that we say is that like is just as, if not more important than love.
Yes.
Love comes easier than like. Like is what keeps you waking up next to the same person and being okay with it.
Yes.
And so for us, that's the foundation of our relationship, is making sure that we are connecting as friends and making sure that we keep that like factor there.
Yes.
The like factor. If you don't like something, you know how to let that thing go real fast.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely. And we say all the time, we have family members who we love dearly. That necessarily mean you want to see them every day.
And if you think about it, when it comes to just friendships, whether if it's, two males in a friendship or two women in just a regular friendship, you have to like that individual to want to be around them. They have to offer something that you care about or that you like, to say, hey, I'm going to get in my car and I'm going to drive over there and I'm going to go spend 5-6 hours with them. You have to like the individual. So, I mean, that's where we figure, the like is, to me, way more important than love. I love some family members, I love some friends, but that don't mean I want to be around them 24/7 either.
Right. Right.
And that's good. That's part of liking, because you get to know the person. So that then if somebody speaks ill of them, you know them enough in that light and that love. Because that like and love blend, and like you're a different person if you say something bad about my friend,
That's
of
right.
how you defend them. And I was, ironically, before I was, preparing for tonight, as I was preparing for tonight, I reflected on, if someone starts changing their behavior and you didn't do anything, the person has said, like, that means somebody else is in their ear.
Mm-hmm.
But the hope is that in your life, that you got a good enough bond to know, no, that's not something she would do. No, that's not something he would do.
Right.
And even if it is, the life that I have for them, the love that I have for them causes me to cover them, because ain't none of us perfect.
Right.
So let's talk about that process too, because when you first got together, how receptive were others of your union? Like, did you face any?
Oh, so my family, open arms, accepting, and that's my parents, my extended family, which, like I said, we were friends, and really he had been around my family. You had been around them a lot at that point.
Yeah.
I was a little bit concerned because, like he said, we got pregnant before we got married.
Yeah.
And I was like, they're not gonna like him. But it was fine. His family, I was not around them as much.
Yeah.
And so there was some questions as to, where did this person pop up?
Right.
And she's pregnant.
Like she just popped up out of the blue.
I mean, there was questions and whatnot, but our focus is each other. And so
the one thing I learned early on is that, you love family, you love your friends, but sometimes you have to distance yourself from people if you want to make things work. And I learned that early on. It was like, well, I'm not going to be able to come around as much as I used to because I'm investing in her. I'm investing in our time. I have a family now, so I can't come to every cookout. I can't come to every family function. I love y'all, but I'm just not going to make it. And one thing that helped us out too was the fact that I started early off working shift work. So I rotate from days to nights. So nobody calls and be like, well, why you ain't make it to this? Because they don't know when I'm working. So
I like it. I like it. And friends, I'm also giving you a little preview of Blended Fed, because in some of our episodes for season 2 that'll be dropping, we talk about how keeping it, private, because people find out, and misery does love company.
Oh yeah.
True. Or they got stuff to say.
Right.
But if you know what it is that you want and you like it, you're fine enjoying it. Now, let me pause, because there's sometimes that we might connect with some lesions.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
In that case, we do want to have somebody of sound ear to be able to be of support to us, even when we don't want to hear it, because they could be saving our lives.
Right.
Because sometimes we're like, oh no, I got this. No, somebody needs to tell you something.
Right.
Something has to happen to let you know. But when things are going well and you're feeling like it's good, it's not everybody's business all the time, because they can come in like whatever it is they want to say, or whatever it is they want to try to get in, because they don't have a love, or they do have a love, but your love seems better than they love, and they got a gray love because it was black, but now it's gray because they're unsure of what's going on.
Right.
It's messy, So I'm not mad at you for doing it.
And we got to a point to where, and not necessarily even against his family. I am an introvert, and I teach. So if I'm working all day and I have to be on when I get home, that's it for me. I'm peopled out. So there were times when there may be something going on and he would go. I had to be okay with that. I had to be a big girl and be okay with him going, and realize it wasn't that he's, choosing someone over me. It's just that he shouldn't have to not attend something just because I'm not, in a space to, deal with the people. And he had to get comfortable enough to say, well, I would like to go, and even if you're not going. So,
and I never tried to make her go. Like, if you don't want to be around anybody, I get it. I'm not going to make you go. I'll encourage you, but if you just like, nah, I don't feel like going today, all right, well, I won't be long.
And along the same lines, he had to get to a point to where when people are asking questions, where's Margaret? Why didn't Margaret come? He knows to tell them she just didn't feel like it, and then not bother with if there's something else coming afterwards. We know why, and that's all that matters.
And I learned early on, keep all them folks out your dang business, because there's some things that people don't need to know. You may be going through, you may be arguing, fussing, and you go tell mama, tell daddy, tell sister, tell cousin, oh, he did this to you. Okay, all right. Then y'all make up. But they at home, far as they know, he did that to you. So, in their minds, so next time you go to the house, looking at you sideways.
Sideways.
Talk to you. Or you might get fronted to this right.
Right.
I like this part of knowing your capacity to know if you're peopled out.
Yes.
Right? And you respecting her capacity of being peopled out. Because if she peopled out and she go,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like a walking bomb. You don't know what is going to happen. It could happen at any moment.
I don't even know.
And then it becomes I'm looking at her to see if she's okay.
Right.
You all right? You all right? You all right?
Right. Which causes, more questions or frustration. So
and the family like, oh, she got attitude.
and she does, but not for the reasons that they think.
That because I don't want to be around y'all.
Right.
I had a troubled day today, and I just want to be by myself.
Right. So that's something that that comes from making sure that you're checking in and being open and honest. I'm thankful that I'm very self-aware, and so I know when I'm peopled out, and I know how to advocate for myself when I'm peopled out. And he sees things from such a positive, optimistic perspective. So that's been good. Also, is that, when I come to him with something, he doesn't immediately get defensive or go to the negative. And so that comes from that friendship, that foundation, and from communicating and building that.
And like she said, she's introvert. I'm the outrovert. I can be around anybody.
Never meets a stranger. So yeah,
you might be like, hey, I'm having a cookout next week, and it's gonna be at such and such. I might come along.
We don't even know if they cook good though. Wait a minute.
No, he's gonna have 4 or 5 new friends on the way out.
Something.
Gotcha. So you're gonna meet the friends, not necessarily for the food.
That's right. That's right.
Gotcha. Okay, we'll take. Yes, Jeannie. Yes, sometimes keep it to yourself. My classes, I call her MVP. She's been married for some years now as well. And life is going to happen because you're steady growing, you're steady evolving every day. One day you did like having on a blanket. A couple months later, you don't want the blanket on. But somebody else puts the blanket on. You got to figure out, all right, wait a minute, what we about to do? The air going to be on and the heat. What we doing,
Yes.
Things change. And the little, things, can become big if you don't address it. But you have to be able to address it with yourself, because you go to tell Cousin Sue who your road dog.
Right.
And if Cousin Sue done told Cousin Paul.
Right.
And then Mark, Matthew, and John know. It's like,
right.
So it really is important, because you will look at the other person side-eye. Some people will. You have to know who you can talk to.
There you go.
And how much you can share.
Right.
Because you can share some without sharing something and still get the feedback that you need. So you can do what you do. But yes, definitely. Sometimes keep it to yourself.
Yes.
I like the part you said too about checking in. Let's talk about that. Because
that's one of the things that there's humor behind it with, the woman saying we need to talk and the man freaking out. Right. And I have been one that I'm like, look, is there anything you need to tell me? Do we need to talk about something? And some of it I've learned was not coming from a positive or a good place, but thankfully we work through those things to where he understands I'm trying to get to a place of comfort. But outside of the things that were my insecurities, some of those bigger things, parenting, finances, those types of things. My thing was always, we need to discuss these things because they can't grow out of hand. And so we, and we'll sometimes sit and say, this is awkward, this is uncomfortable. Like, we acknowledge it,
yes,
but we have to do it. And then we move through it.
And one thing as a man, I had to, because my background is I'm the youngest of 10.
Oh.
And so I was in the background a lot, coming up in the 80s and stuff, and just, you children are seen, not heard. And I adapted that in my lifetime, but I still was a people person, reached out to people and things like that. So, but when it came to, dealing with issues, I was the one that was sitting there quiet, and she would throw off about 10 different questions. Well, hey, I'm still stuck on the first one. So, I ain't even figured out that. Then you'd ask me 9 more questions. So what I did learn is effective. I said, you know what? I'm just going to write it down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So write a letter. This is how I felt.
Yes.
And her being able to see it, me get that's okay. That's how it'll work for me. Because
that's throughout the years, a lot of those hard conversations we wrote to each other. Like he said, I am constantly going. And if there's a lull in the conversation, like if we're discussing something and he takes too long, then I might start thinking something is wrong. But we've been able to write each other, and that way you get it out. It's on paper. Once we read it or text, there's nothing. It's nothing for me to send a text that probably takes two scrolls to read it. But you get everything out, and then once it's out in the open, we come back and we discuss that. We don't just leave it, there. We come back and discuss it.
And I think a lot of times with arguing is you're fussing because you start speaking louder, and then you can't get your point across because they're coming back while you're trying to speak. So sometimes you may just have to write that thing down and be like, oh, yes. There are dressers and drawers. We've had discussions, and I know the designs of the handles because that's what I would be sitting up there doing while what do you got to say for yourself? And I'm just looking at the handle. Because I was trying to figure out what was the first day question.
Hilarious. I like it. And I like the part of writing down, because another thing is there could be a moment that you, Margaret, could go through something and process it, and you're ready to talk about it. But it's fresh to Byron. It's new, right? So he needs that time to kind of take it in and really, how do I want to respond? And oftentimes when I work with couples, I tell them too, you have, got yourself all riled up about this. You like power to the people, you want to share it. But this is their first time knowing that it's a concern to you, possibly. Yes. But all that goes with concern, they might know that you really didn't like me not putting my clothes in a hamper. Right. It's obviously right. I knew it was a problem, but I didn't know to the extent of why. It was maybe some traumatic experiences as a kid and things of that sort. So when you bring those pieces out, and so you could be years in a situation and think that you were over something, and then somebody knew it, and it's like, it's like Dr. Jekyll, Mrs. Hyde, like what? Right. So it's cool to be able to write it down, text it out and things of that sort, and know that what's being shared is in love. It's your thoughts, it's your feelings. They are valid, right? Now that you got it, what we're going to do with it? I'm not attacking you. I'm just telling you how I feel, what happened. And then other could say, I didn't mean it that way. Or I did mean it that way because I also don't like when you blah, 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 blah. But you get to talk it out. And walking it out is really going on that path where we're going to be together. We're going to be friends. Yes. It's going to get hard sometimes.
I'm glad that you said that, because that's one of the key parts is that I know he is on my side. He knows I'm on his. We know that the goal is to be happy and together.
Yes.
And so when those times come, when things come up, and we get upset, or I can count on one hand how many big blow-ups that we've had.
Mm-hmm.
But the emotions took over in those times.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt, even with those emotions going, that at some point we're going to settle down and we're going to work through this. And it takes knowing that we have a common goal, and that goal is we're going to be successful. We're going to be happy.
Yeah.
We're not just going to stay together to stay together, but we're going to be happy and enjoy it. We used to joke when our kids were younger. We used to say, if you decide, whoever decides to leave gets custodial custody of the kids. and we had, so it was like, that was a little extra layer of motivation. Yeah. But honestly, our goal has been to get married and stay married to each other. Yes. And do so and be happy. And so anytime conflict would come up, you go back to that and you remember, okay, we've got the same goal. We're on the same team. Yep. Yeah. One band, one sound.
That's right. Right.
Look, they thought it was just a line and drum line. They goes beyond them. It's so important because if somebody starts doing something out of sync, you're like, wait, what's that? What's going on?
Mm-hmm. One thing I had to learn also, that and for the men, I know sometimes men can be hard-headed and stubborn. I'm one of them, so but
I'm just keep looking straight.
He's stubborn. Okay,
it's all over the world now.
Thank you.
I was saying, you have to learn your partner, and that is key. It's like, you might have dated someone who liked flowers. Your partner, she doesn't really care for flowers, but you keep getting her flowers and wondering why Valentine's didn't kick off like you thought it was going to. Well, you got her some dang flowers. She already told you what she wanted. So, being attentive and listening and learning that, you probably have had relationships with other people, but this is your partner and this is an individual and they like things the way that they like it. And everybody's not going to be the same.
Right.
So you have to learn your partner, learn their likes, learn their dislikes. And just once you learn them, try not the dislikes, just try to stay away from them. You'll be, You'll be happy.
You'll be happy. It's like Gary Chapman with the love languages, right?
Yes.
If you like flowers, just because you're giving them doesn't mean that they like them. Right. That somebody else like them, but you might like flowers. So you letting them know, I want flowers. Let me get giving them flowers. It's like, I don't want flowers. Why they make me sneeze, they make me itch, whatever it is. But just like them. So it's important to find out what it is that the other person likes, because if you're just giving gifts all the time, they're like, all right, stop buying me stuff. I just really want you to be around. Right. Time. So it's important, in those check-ins, find out what is it that you need. How can I support you? How can I help you?
Right.
In the tough times of it, I want you to just focus on me for a good, 5 minutes. You think 5 minutes not long, but if you really just sit for 5 minutes,
right?
The thing with my staff sometimes, I'll be like, give me a number between 1 and 5. One of them said 7. I said, you tired. That moment to have a moment to just be silent and things of that sort, and to just kind of come together and things of that sort, and it helps us to bring in our minds, get us focused in things, because who knows what the topic's going to be, what we have to talk about. But again, find out what it is from the other person. Or what it is that they need, so that you're not doing something in vain. Because you're going and buying all these flowers. That's nice. I asked you for a box of chocolate. That was $25 at the Dollar Tree,
And it'll end up having the opposite effect.
Yep.
Because then you don't feel heard. You don't feel, like you're being taken seriously or what have you.
And then the man is mad. I spent $6 on these dang flowers. And you don't care for them, then it's a whole nother argument.
Yep.
A whole nother argument. And you took your time too, because you're not even a shopper, and you went in the store, you stood in the line.
Right.
I know. Woo, woo, woo.
Yeah.
But again, that's the important parts of having that check-in. Another couple I was working with, they was talking about not knowing what to do. I said, get a jar and put in there little pieces of paper, places you want to go. Because sometimes you're like, I don't know where you want to go. Let's go to the jar. Because after a while, you're gonna get tired of that, irritated. Right. So you're like, we're just gonna stay home. But I don't want to stay home. But you don't know where you want to go, sunshine. Let's get this jar. and put some ideas in it. You pull it out until you have something to do. I know some people too that do like a note memo. So if they're going to Chick-fil-A, Arby's, whoever, they know what to order you.
Right.
Because I'm gonna talk to Byron now. Margaret, just stay on a ride. You'll say she don't want that, and then you get home and then she did want something. Or he'll say he don't want it because it goes both ways, friends.
Yep.
You know, and then you get home. So if you already know what it is that they like, that's something simple and smart to do to help your house.
That's right.
Stay kind of collected. Now, if you chucking it down in the car and then come in the house without it, that's something totally different.
Yep.
But just know that sometimes we still can smell those fries that you got from Chick-fil-A. We know that she was there.
Well, I wasn't hungry till you walked in with that bag. Why you ain't give me none? Well, you said you didn't want none. Yeah, that's a whole other discussion.
Whole nother discussion. They got a whole other check-in.
I always want Chick-fil-A. He knows that.
Chick-fil-A is always good.
You mentioned the shared note, and we do that with a lot of things. And even with Christmas and holidays, we have gift list. And I get very specific with mine, but you can screenshot and put things and put links and things like that. And for some people, they think that takes away from. But to me, I don't want to give a gift just to give.
Right.
Yes.
I want you to find value. I want you to realize that I recognize this is something that's of value to you. And so things like that, that's how you create that bond. And that's how you grow together by recognizing and respecting each other like that.
Yep.
Yes.
Exactly.
So good. So good. Definitely to have the gift list. Because like you said, you want to get someone that's meaningful, that's gonna work. You know, a guy be like, I'm tired of getting socks. Now I will tell you, after you become an adult, you'd be surprised. Sometimes those socks and undergarments come in handy. Mom knew what she was doing.
I appreciate a pack of socks, especially as high as they are now. So man, shoot.
Well,
as you get older, you appreciate it more.
Oh yeah,
I appreciate a gift card as well. You know, some people are offended by that, but I'm like I said, I don't believe in just getting something to say I've gotten you. I want people to get value and appreciate. Right. Right. I crochet and yarn just calls my name. And so for me to be able to get a gift card to go buy yarn or, you know, that means something to me. That means you know me, you know what I want and what I value. So
I may not know colors, but I know what store to go to and get that gift card.
Absolutely.
And there you go. It helps. It truly helps. And it's funny because like sometimes people do feel some type of way about a gift card, but I know a restaurant they like, or they'll say, I don't get to go there often. Let me get you a gift card for there, you know, or I noticed you want something from that store. You was in it. I ain't someone, let me just get you the gift card. So it does help. And friends, please don't hold it against them if they get you a gift card, because you could get a thoughtful gift, but it's not thoughtful to you.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, I just don't believe in giving I believe in giving with a purpose.
Right.
I want to feel heard. I want to feel like you're doing this because you care about me. So, and for those who know me, they know a gift card will not offend.
And then look, and then a whole nother argument is when you went and bought, like, let's say a shirt or something like that. She ain't wore a shirt.
Right.
She said she liked it. She must not like it. Then that's a whole
mess
other
around
argument.
and get the wrong size.
Oh, I know not to buy clothes.
You're doing good. You're staying in your lane. I'm gonna just get you a gift card. You buy whatever clothes you want. Yeah.
There you go.
I heard these brothers talking, and he was like, that's right. Give me a gift card. You give me the money. I go buy what I want to buy. I said, you're right. Because that way you don't have no mix-ups.
That's right.
And they be like, yeah, this is what you got me. Don't you like it? It's real nice. Real nice. I thank you for it, you know.
Right.
And it works out.
Right.
Exactly.
So let's go back down memory lane. How did you two meet? But I don't know who should go first, because I'm sure this story's gonna be just a smidgen different on both sides, but it's all love because it still came together.
Well, I liked his friend.
I'm gonna give me a mug to have tea. It's too much happening tonight.
I liked his friend, and
okay.
he
in
was
reality, She knew him before she knew me.
I did.
And this particular friend, we had detention at the school. So we went to my house, and he was like, and I'm called my friend Margaret and see if she's home. I'm gonna walk around the corner and see her. I'm like, well, this is my neighborhood. Now he didn't live in my neighborhood. This is my neighborhood. I know everybody, every woman here. So who is this? So I'm like, I'm going to be nosy, anything. So we walk, and it was just around the corner. So I walk around, I see her sitting on top of the car, and I'm like, oh, she cute. Okay. And then, that was she don't remember that.
I don't.
She don't remember that. But I had to remember it. So, and of course we had mutual friends. We realized we knew some of the same people. Mm-hmm. So we would run into each other in different friend groups. I had another friend that actually brought her to my house. And that's when we had our actual introduction. Mm-hmm. We exchanged numbers, like, hey, y'all hang out over here. Next time we go, we're gonna, come through. Mm-hmm. And it was just generally like that. But every time we would go hang out and meet in the little hangout spots, we would always kind of be around each other, just claim each other, so that was the foundation of us. And then she would come to the house, hang out with me, I'd go to her house, hang out with her. And it was strictly platonic the whole time. And
we tried to date.
Yeah, we tried.
We tried to date.
Yeah, we tried. It didn't. It didn't pan out because I ain't gonna lie, I was trying to be a little player,
Right, trying.
Got caught. Got caught
horribly.
Got caught in the game real bad. My game was weak. It was really weak.
But that's how I know there had to be something there, because I continued talking to him after that. Yeah. And we were, after that, we were back to being platonic friends. Yeah. He was in a long-term relationship for a minute, and I went away to school. And so I would come home and we would still hang out and everything. And then right before I moved back home, we met up for the holidays and we were hanging out, and I told him I was moving back home and asked him if he wanted to help me move.
Yeah.
He did. And from there we were
this is my shot right here. I just broke up with my ex-girlfriend. So there's no relationship in the way. She didn't say anything about a relationship. So this is my shot. Yeah. So I had to go help her move. I took off work. I missed some money to go help my friend move.
Yeah.
And
we were
fellas, you might have to help her move. You know what I'm
saying? Might have to miss money.
Yep. But look what you gained.
That's right.
Yeah, a good gain. I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing. It's interesting too, since you didn't know all the story, but again, it ended with the good thing. Mm-hmm. And that's the best part of it.
Yeah.
Friends sometimes helps us to connect with other friends.
We would, once we were like, our friend groups would hang out. It was just like he said, we would always find ourselves to each other, and we'd just sit and laugh. I always felt safe. I always felt comfortable. Yeah. I could just be myself. Mm-hmm. I just had someone comment to me recently about my resting face and how closed off it is. And then they said, but then when you talk to her, she's nice, and but that's a wall that's there, and it's there for a reason, be it however dysfunctional it has been, but it's there for a reason. Yeah. But with him, I never felt the need to be that way. I felt comfortable and I felt safe, and that meant a lot to me. So we maintained a friendship, even when he was, like I said, he was in a long-term relationship. We maintained friendship throughout that because I wanted to know that my friend was okay.
Very nice. Very nice.
Just like that old scene in What's Love Got to Do with It?
Yes.
Ike came to visit Tina at the end of the show.
Gosh.
And Ike said, I'm in here in a minute.
Oh my goodness.
We stayed in here.
We was doing so good.
Right. See that? See in here.
We done took a left turn.
Right. Because Might be.
We
Exactly.
need a new GPS.
I didn't
Right.
mean to use Ike as a reference, but that's just like
Oh my goodness.
No worries. No
that's
worries.
how
No worries.
in tune we were.
Right.
Yes. I think the other part too is how you felt like there were the times that you did try to, talk and things of that sort, and the dopeness of how it came back around. Because sometimes we do connect with people, but it's not really the right time, but it is
Right.
the right person.
Right.
And the dopeness that it was able to come back around. Because for some people,
Right.
could have been another, way. And then
Exactly.
it could have been, happily ever after over there or whatever that looks like, because that's not really, it is true to
Mhm.
happen happily ever after, but it's a different version for everybody and what it looks like.
Right.
Somebody else
Right.
happily ever after might not be yours. But the cool is that it was able to come back around.
Mhm.
So when it
Yes.
did come around, how was that joy of, this is my friend again? Not friend again, but this is my friend. Your quotes that you put because you helped her move.
Well, for one thing, for me, it was just delightful to be around somebody that I could be myself
Mhm.
around and not have to feel like I had to change my behavior, or if I wanted to be silly, just like I just
Mhm.
was, I didn't have to, oh, you stop that. We don't do that in public,
Right.
And that was the one thing. And then us just hanging around each other
Mhm.
and being able to do it day after day. That's one of the things I long for. And it was, I told her that, the first time we were involved with each other, and I told her, I said, I was just sitting up there thinking about her one day. And I said, you know what? I won't, I'm gonna make that woman happy one day. I don't know how, but I'm gonna make her happy one day. And that was the goal of mine at 16, 17. And so when it came back around, I said, all right, it's your
Moment.
shot. It's like Eminem, you only get one shot. So
There we go. That was good.
Much better than the Ike one. We're getting better. We're moving.
We still take the Ike one. We got what you were saying. He's like, I fought for my name. I'm gonna keep. I was like,
Right.
I'm sorry, ladies. I didn't mean to take y'all through.
Eat the cake. See, I see. We there.
Meanwhile, he has figured out how to spell here and will text me that. So I'm used to it.
When we be thinking the same thing, sometimes, she'll be like, oh, well, that's such and such. And then I'll be, I was just thinking the same thing. I said, you know why, right? And she'd be like, yeah, I'm in here.
I love it. What would you say are some important characteristics of a successful relationship? Like, yeah.
So, like I said, like in friendship,
Yes.
that's of the utmost importance.
Yes.
This is us.
Right.
This is us. We enjoy each other's company. We enjoy spending time with each other. So that's the utmost importance. A mutual respect for each other as individuals, and also knowing that we're on the same team and our goals are the same.
Yes.
If I know that whatever he's doing or saying has hurt my feelings in whatever way, I can come to him and let him know that, and know that his response, and I may not like it. Sometimes I didn't like the responses, but I knew that in the end, the goal is still the same.
Yes. Definitely respect for each other, and time. You have to put the time in. That's the key factor for me. I was just like, do I want to go hang out with the boys and sit around and talk old war stories that, doesn't mean anything, or do I want to hang with my wife, And what does hanging out with each other consist of? People talk about date nights now, and those are very important things. Sometimes it's just good for us to just sit in the room. Now we've got today's she'll crochet. I'm on my iPad doing some things, playing my games. We'll sit up there and watch Dateline. we love crime dramas,
Right.
And that's just our pastime, or it might be another favorite TV show. We'll start watching it, and just that's just being with each other. Being in the presence of each other. And sometimes it just helps. It helps us to be at peace with each other.
Yeah.
Right.
Another part is, so people take pictures and they post them on social media, and this relationship goes hashtag this. hashtag Black Love, and a question in like walking it out and finding out what works best for you and your relationship. How far should someone get caught up in relationship goals? Because after a while, you think you have to do X, Y, and Z, or like, it'll be the girl saying, "Oh, you have to pay for this before you even get with me." And sometimes, most times, a lot of times, that's not realistic.
Right.
And then they have unrealistic expectations for a relationship.
Yep.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on relationship goals?
Go ahead.
You said, you see people posting pictures and all these things, relationship goals. You have to make sure that those goals that you set are goals that you and your partner set. Those are the only relationship goals that I will advocate for.
Right.
So we've seen with celebrity couples how they have their downfall and people are heartbroken. I know for us, we've had family members that I felt like my parents were divorcing when I found out they were splitting up, because you hold these people to such high esteem. I think that it's important to have people that can mentor you or speak to you about certain things. But ultimately, those relationship goals should be your partner and you sitting down, determining what those goals are and working together for those goals.
And another thing is, I think that people kind of put themselves outside of a box because you have these standards. And, your standards, as you get older, your standards should adjust. I'm not going to say change, but adjust. You might not want the same things at 30 that you want at 20, but, they have income requirements now. Okay, if you want 6 figures, okay, that's fine. But look where you live. It's how many people are you dating? How many people are you running into that make 6 figures where you live? You just have to be realistic about your goals and desires. And it's difficult for us because when we started out broke.
Right.
So everything we built together. Yep. You know what I'm saying? I was taking care of my family. Oh God, $6.25 an hour. So I didn't have nothing to brag on. I left my parents' house.
You didn't. You had plenty
with a
to brag
car
on
and some clothes. But we built together.
Yeah.
And we hung in there with each other and we built our dynasty. So it's like you have to decide what you want for yourself. And just be realistic, because there's some good, hard-working men that will take care of you, ladies, that make $50,000. Some of them make $35,000. You want the big mansion, or you want to be happy?
Right. Yeah.
Because we have in our time, we have had different homes. We have moved. We've had 5-bedroom homes. Now we're in a 3-bedroom home. All that stuff is, everything you get that's materialistic is like you get used to it, and then it's no big deal.
Right. Right. Ultimately, the goal should be to be happy and have a successful relationship, whatever that looks like to you and your partner.
And being able to have time with each other.
Very good friends. Because those expectations, I like that part of working together for it too. Because at the end of the day, you're still a team.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Illness could come at any time. Illness could come at any time, and somebody's down. You got to be able to pull the weight to support for the team. Right. And another thing, with couples, things that are you doing it for yourself or doing it for the team?
Right.
No I in team. If you saying y'all together, yes, you have some individual things that go on.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we gotta keep this roof. What we gonna do? We're gonna hustle it out to do what it is that gotta be done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not to say, I hear you guys. Not to say that your expectations aren't realistic all the time.
Right.
It is a possibility that you could meet this knight in shining armor that makes the man that you're going to have and do all things, but it's still some stuff you got to do too, because you can't.
Exactly.
Not saying that you're getting paid to do things of the sort, but you got to pull your weight in a relationship too.
Right.
If they come home in the house dirty all the time, ma'am,
right.
Not paid either. At least hire somebody then said, bro, you don't cook. Find somebody else to do it. Take a cooking lesson. It's some things you want to do too to keep that relationship thriving. Where, like you said, feeling seen, feeling heard,
right?
You feel valued, and the relationship.
Just being there, and you might have that high earner, but he's not there. because he's earning that high, he's making those high earnings, and you may be reduced to a text and a phone call at certain times a day, but he's got to hustle, so he's got to make that money. So at the end of the day, you have to decide what's going to be more important at the end of the day.
Yes, so true.
My thing has always been also to make sure that that I'm communicating to him that I want him to be, I want him to be happy, I want him to be comfortable, I want him to be. So there were times when I was not working, I was at home with the kids. Um, and I would ask him about dinner or what time are you going to be home, because I wanted dinner to be ready, and he's like, it doesn't matter, just whatever you fix, or whenever I get ready, I'll eat. But my thing was making sure he knew I was appreciating him working. Now the flip side of that, anyone who has raised a child knows that sometimes you're tired. And so I also didn't have to worry about him coming home from work being nitpicky if certain things were not done. Because he knew, okay, once she's rested, it'll get taken care of. And that goes back to that whole making sure we're on the same team, we have the same goal in mind.
And there have been times where I've come home and she's been home all day, and she like, what do you want for dinner? Let's pick up something. I'll cook. It's never been that big of a deal to me. Like, I want my dinner ready every day when I get home and all this stuff. I mean, you go make demands, and you creating a situation where the person is unhappy because you have all these demands. And I never made a demand. I just said, hey, we just do what we can do. What's going to work for us?
Right.
Those demands will get you in trouble.
And I will say this, there were times where he may come to me and say, I had a hard day and I didn't feel like doing this. Could you make sure you do this? Or so, not to say that like there's a mutual respect there. Right. So there is no, I'm taking advantage of him because I know he's not going to say anything, or I'm just going to let this slide. So there were times when he would come to me and say, I need this done, or can you do this? Even now when I do laundry, and it bothers me because I wash our regular laundry and I forget about his work uniforms. And so he'll get to them sometimes, or sometimes he asks me to do it. But when he asks me to do it, he acts like he's putting me out. And I'm telling him, no, I want to make, things comfortable. So we both have that desire to make things easier for the other.
Yes.
And so that concern for each other, it comes through with things like that.
I love it. I also love because February is Black History Month, but it's also a special holiday on the 14th, and the holiday is hyped up a little bit, just a little bit. And in a conversation that I get in, I talk about how Valentine's Day should be every day. You should always share how your love that you have for your mate. And I want to highlight a moment, actually a couple moments that you've had, Margaret, and you too, Byron, but how the praise that you've had for him. And like that, like, no, you did that. When he's like, 625 men around, no, you had a lot to offer, And then in the moment that you just shared of how, that makes a big difference too, friends, of that love being evidently shared. Every so often she's looking over and you can see the smile on her face. That's the joy that you have being in a relationship. He's, cracking his jokes and things that sort. And she's like, it brings her joy. And that also shows you the love and attention that's been put in on both parties' side to say, I choose you.
Right.
Yes.
I want you. I want to keep with you. I'm going to walk this thing out with you. And friends, in your relationship is so important. The person wants to know that you did really choose them. However, you express that, whether it is writing that letter, writing that text.
Yep.
And those things, they go a long way. They go a long way. We'll leave sticky notes from time to time. Like he said, he works shift work. And so when he's on nights, I might, when I'm leaving, I'll leave a sticky note on the mirror, because by the time I leave, he's pulling in. So things like that, just to, little reminders throughout the day. I got a text message earlier today. It was just emojis. There was no words. So those things, they keep that connection going.
Yes.
What are some words of wisdom you believe with our guests as it comes to those that are single, hoping to be married, those that are married, those that don't know what they are in situationships, entanglements, and things of that sort? But what are the words of wisdom you would give us as we close out?
Walk it out. If that's your person, or if you're seeking that person, don't be so quick to cut things off. Very important thing is self-reflection and self-awareness.
Yes.
I'm so thankful that I was aware enough to work things out prior to starting therapy. Once I started therapy a few years back and am really able to work through some things, we've grown even closer. So that self-awareness, self-reflection, and just stay in the course. If both of you are, have the same goal in mind, or if you're single, don't be so quick to give up on someone because they're not checking a certain box. Because now I'll preface that. Oprah Winfrey, on her show, she had a guest once and they said, you never date someone for their potential. You take them for what they are. So not saying that you lower your standards, but just saying that you may be passing up a wonderful individual because the expectation may not be realistic.
Right.
Walk it out.
And also, the person should add value to your life. Should add something to your life. Add something to your day. Even if you're dating and if you have children and they're willing to help you out, pick up the kids for you from daycare or school or whatever, or
if you trust them,
if you trust them, or just adding that value to your life. I'm a man at heart. When we were dating, or even when we were friends, one of the things I go back to cars. I used to wash her car for her. You know what I'm saying? Even when we were just friends, that's just I felt like, well, that's a need that she needs met, so I'll do that. Or if I had to stop by a store on the way home or call her and be like, hey, you need anything while I'm on the way? Those type of things. So they should be adding to your life in great and small ways.
Yeah.
But the small ways is what's really going to count. It's like she might not be thinking, I'm not really hungry, but I'll bring you something to your job or something.
Yeah.
Just if they're not doing stuff like that, then I don't know what you got.
You got a lesion.
Absolutely.
You got something.
I think that's going to be the nickname for the specialties for the rest of my life.
Right.
Thank you, Risa Tisa Risa.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. I gotta get something for my episodes that I watch, so I'm gonna claim that for special ones. We're gonna call them legions. But that's so good. I do thank you both for joining us. I'm so excited for what's to come. Can you share a little bit about yourselves? I know you have a podcast. Want to share that with our friends today?
Yeah, so we have the Beyond I Do podcast where we talk all things marriage, but we've been doing it for a year. And going into this second year, we wanted to really focus on being the best individual so that you can be the best partner. So this particular year, we have individuals coming on to speak about your mental well-being. Our first episode of this year, we had an intimacy coach on, and that aired the day before Valentine's. So right in time. Right. And we're on Facebook, the Beyond I Do podcast. We're on YouTube, the Beyond I Do podcast. Like I said, we're spreading our.
We just started TikTok. Sharing our lives. And the first season, we broke down who we were, talked about how we met, and what challenges that a married couple would face that they didn't think about. Because the foundation of our show was really just, I was looking at Steve Harvey one time, and they had all the couples on, and they had the couple that had been married 50 years, and they were like, well, how did you stay together so long? And of course they said communication. So I was like, well, what is the communication? It's like, that's such a common. What is that communication? So that was the foundation of our podcast, and we just wanted to share with people how we communicated, how we made it through the years.
Yep.
That's good, because communication is the first thing that comes to mind for a lot of people when I ask them, and we could say it, but still don't even know what it means. Like you said,
Absolutely.
I say hi, she say hi. We communicated.
Right. We communicated.
So deeper than that, friends, you know. So it's really, really important to go a little deeper what that looks like. That part about, you said mutual respect was a good component. What does that look like? Right. Because what does disrespect look like? So I know not to do those things. Now, what does the respect look like? So I could do that, because if you want to show them love and things like that. Friends, I promise I did not pay Margaret to talk about therapy, because we work to normalize addressing our mental health, and it's so important. If you feel like you need to talk to somebody,
always.
Even if you don't feel like you need it, just try.
Yeah.
Because of my self-awareness, and it was just a lot of stuff born out of dysfunction. I grew up in a very chaotic household. I had to learn how to read a room very quickly. So those are things that have helped me navigate through, but I also knew how to put up boundaries to the point where they became walls.
Come on.
And so going to therapy, I always tell people that gave me, that was my pivot from just existing to actually being able to live.
Yes.
And who wants to just exist? I was happy before, but now the lightness that I have, and to be able to have someone to process through things, big and small, and know that I'm not being judged, and it's a safe space.
Once she was able to share with me the deep, the dark things that happened to her, it helped me to understand her behaviors. So I was able to go back and say, okay, well, that wasn't because she didn't love me. She didn't know how to respond in the way that she felt that I needed at that time. So, and the thing is, we've been doing therapy all our lives. When you go tell your friends all your business, that's therapy right there.
They just may or may not help you.
They're just like, girl, okay, all right, yeah.
And even with him, and it amazes me how sometimes he says things, and sometimes he'll say something, and then I'm in therapy and she'll say the same thing. And he's very well adjusted and aware of things and has this understanding. And for me, it baffles me sometimes because I've suppressed emotions so much. But even he's been to therapy. We've been to couples therapy, especially after the podcast. We're putting ourselves out here telling people, oh, we're married and happy. And then all of a sudden I hate how he puts his socks down like that. Why you keep doing that?
I told you I ain't like the ring on the coffee table. Put the toast.
But that anxiety from putting ourselves out there, I was like, look, we need a session together so that we can, make sure we're on the same page and make sure that anything we do and say is coming from a place of authenticity, not just for show. But I needed to make sure that, that things are okay, and I need help processing those things so that I'm not anxious about things or what have you.
And I hope this is the last time I bring up my sis Risa Tisa, but that was a part 2. She was sharing, as she shared her story in those episodes. It was hard because you had to relive it. The stuff you thought you healed from. And then we live in this world where everybody got an opinion.
Oh,
that they don't mind sharing.
I came across it on my Facebook, and somebody was talking about it, and they said they had 50 parts. So that was during the day, and I was working nights that night. So I was like, I'm gonna see what, at least look at the first, see what they're talking about. And I dug that rabbit hole. I stayed in there all night. And it was so traumatizing to me, as a man, that I had some dreams about that thing, for real. When I slept that next day, because I was like, this can't be real. This can't be.
Fun fact, we're actually from Augusta, Georgia. So we've been trying to find
who this brother is.
But I don't know if this is a fun fact or not, but he's originally from Philly, where I'm from. I'm like, that.
born in Philly and
We can
was-
both
lived
claim a
in
little
Augusta.
bit.
Like that's Mark mentioned too, Augusta. I wonder who this guy is.
But the other part is too, people knew that this man had these struggles. And that part of what happens in our house stays in the house. We're not communicating, does more damage than good sometimes because now he done did this with so many people.
Right,
Mhm.
right,
Mhm.
right.
And I know he has his story where he's saying what his take of it was, but there's so many others like this. But also in telling the story, the backlash that you get when they do find out, they done found out who the man was and all the stuff that comes with that, it's a lot going on. And again, it's beneficial for her to, like seek the therapy to be able to talk about it because
Mhm.
though it was therapeutic to share it, now what am I doing with it? I don't unpack it
Right.
all.
Right.
How can
right.
I put it back in a suitcase or give it to the Goodwill or
Yeah.
throw it away?
Right.
You know? So friends, that's why it's so important for us to be able to talk to somebody. The employee assistance program at your job is a free service. Well, it's not free, you get it through your benefits, but it's a free service that you can use to just call somebody up. I'm gonna go back to your car analogy because we get our car inspected every year here in Philadelphia. I don't know if y'all do that down there.
We don't, but we used
I got to
to.
get that oil
Okay.
change.
You got to get the oil change. But we get the inspection every year, and it doesn't mean that something's wrong, but you're just getting a checkup. And sometimes you just need that checkup. But when you hear something a little off, you might just want to go in. Or you might just want to go like, hey, just make sure everything is good. I'm going on a road trip. So I want to make sure I'm good. So you want to do those check-ins as you need them, not just because the oil light is coming on, the check engine light is coming on. I mean, get those checkups when those come on.
Right.
Make sure everything is all right. Because sometimes the light just comes on to come on. I know, but make sure nothing's going on.
Yes, and I can say even if you feel like there's nothing wrong with you, I fully support people going to therapy because you may have hidden some things, you may have buried some things. There have been some things that I didn't realize that was affecting me until I started talking about it, until I actually went to therapy. I was like, well, man, because I just thought I had a good life. I didn't realize some of those things as being a youngest of 10 and how that affected my behavior, some things that I've done. So it's like, I suppressed it. Okay.
And let me just say, you do suppress things, friends.
Yes.
You feel like you're good about certain things, and then something happen, like it'll trigger you, like,
Oh, yeah.
something about this then celebrate me. And then when you sit in it, like, oh, because I had put that all the way in the back.
Yep.
And I thought it was very deep. That stuff comes up.
Yeah,
and when we get into a relationship with others, and we haven't addressed those things, it can come up. And you want to be able to communicate, mean talk it out, walk it out, to share what's going on for you.
Right.
Find a professional to talk to really process your thoughts about it, because if we don't process it, it's a volcano that could go over any time.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And that volcano could erupt and affect your partner, affect your children, affect your family, your career, and that's not.
And I think a lot of times when we hear these people just nutting up and doing something, that's not like them. They just went off. That's why.
Right.
Because the volcano finally erupted.
Finally erupted, and it affects you too. Some people sometimes get to that breaking point. They have like a psychotic break. It's what it's called in the mental health world, and it's like she ain't never been back to normal since then. Normal, whatever form is, but like that capacity, we have to know our limits of how many people we can be around, how much we can talk. This is why our jobs also give us PTO. You need to take off, because I promise the moment you leave there, they replacing you in a second, cleaning out your desk in a moment. So make sure we're taking our vacation time, taking our sick time, taking a mental health day. That's a sick day. I said my hair had to get done one time. I was like, that's a sick day. My hair is under the weather.
Right.
And when my hair ain't looking good, I don't feel good. So
right. There you go.
You have to take a day.
Another thing I would say too, for people who just starting out and you don't have a lot of money at this present time, one of the things that we did in the beginning, we just be like, hey, we got to get away from our normal life. So let's just go find a city, go get a hotel somewhere, and just stay for the weekend. Just to get away. And we still do that now sometimes. Just go to another city, stay for the entire weekend. No destination, no place to go. We're just gonna go and get away. And that's very therapeutic also.
Yes. And get the deals, friends. People act like they don't steal Groupon. You better go on Groupon, friend.
Exactly. Yeah.
You need to spend money when you get there. You need to eat when you get there.
Absolutely.
I don't care where you go, you're gonna eat.
You're gonna eat. We're going to Chick-fil-A, Margaret. We're going to
Absolutely.
That's right.
what you going to eat?
Pleasure. It's
Always
their
is.
I love it. I love it. Oh, this is so good. Again, I do thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Y'all be sure to check out their podcast. I'm excited. I'm going to check it out myself too. Beyond I Do Podcasts, you go to their website. It'll give you all the information. Or, you can Google and search them. They do come up as well. So, yes, y'all check them out, friends.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. We have enjoyed it.
Forewarn you, we get silly. So,
Yeah. I would have never thought that. I'm so surprised. But again, sometimes you get some topics, you gotta laugh it a little bit to like lighten it up a little bit.
Right.
Others open up to talk about it. Like, yeah, because it got a little tough.
Right.
But I survived it, and friends, you can too. So, it's always good to hear somebody else's story and hear how they survived it, because it encourages us that we too can survive as well.
That's right.
Yes.
Keep walking it out.
That's right.
I thank you again so much. But you guys have a great evening. I know it's your bedtime. I'm so sorry. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
We've enjoyed it.
Awesome. Friend, I hope that you enjoyed tonight with Byron and Margaret McKie. Yo, they were amazing. And be sure, I told you guys we have Blended Fab. They are a guest for our Blended Fab podcast as well. That comes out on Thursdays at 8 p.m. So if you have not already been tuning in, be sure to tune in, friends. Season 1 just ended. And when I tell you we had a good time, we had Beverly, we had Tahira, we had Byron, another Byron. We know Byron's around here. Jasmine, Tanisha, Los, and Shar, Karima, Rodney, and Stacey. And when I tell you they shared their heart, it was just amazing to hear the different stories as we talked all things relationships. Don't forget our Black History Person of the Night that we are honoring, which is Dr. Inez Prosser. She's the first African-American therapist, psychologist. I'm always excited to share about that. Why? Because we normalize addressing our mental health. Now, let me come back, friends, because I told y'all last week about my magic wine that I was drinking. And I told y'all I was going to drink it that next day, Tuesday, because I had a big staff meeting. Let me tell y'all something, friends. One, I didn't go to bed when I should have went to bed. Neither here nor there. But I took my little magic mind productivity shot. And let me tell you, I got there. I got on time. I was on time. And we did the meeting. It was over 200 staff there. And I was leading in and stuff. It went amazing. And when it was over, they was like, why are you so good? I said, because I had my magic mind. Why? Because it helps to keep us together. Let me tell you about it. It's an all-natural drink. It has matcha in it, some turmeric in it, some lion's mane. And it's all natural. And it's a caffeine. It's like a slow release and things of that sort. And guess what? My friends at Magic Mind is trying to help y'all out. And I'm trying to help y'all out too. If you go to the website, you can get a discount when you use the code GEN20. They were like, when the meeting was over, Jennifer, how you still good? Again, my magic mind. They was like, you probably on a high because it's over. I said, no, I'm still good. I'm not even tired, and I probably should be, but I was just feeling good. It really helped me get through my day, helped me to keep my focus, helped me to crush procrastination, and it elevated my mental clarity. So friends, y'all be sure to head over to magicmind.co/Jen and type in Jen20 and you'll get that discount. Friends, don't forget our quote of the day. Dun, 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 dun. What comes easy won't last long, and what lasts long won't come easy. Friends, life is going to life, but friends, if it comes easy, it might not last long. But if it lasts long, it didn't come easy. We worked at it. So we want to make sure that we're walking it out. Next month, we will have a new series. We won't be on next Monday, but we will be on the next Monday after that. Just keep posted. I promise to let you know. Now, as an adult, I'm not going to hold you. All the time I do not want to clean up. I'm like, how did you get this house done? Like this and you. I'm taking stuff to Goodwill. And springtime is coming. So, friends, we got to clean up some things mentally, within our bodies, within our homes, with the people, places, and things that surround us. We're coming on the third month of the year. We got to get some things together. So next month's theme is spring cleaning. We're going to clean up some things. As always, if you would like to be a guest, be sure to email us at info@chozencounselors.com. I do appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in, for liking, for coming back again. Don't forget our Blending Fab podcast. If you missed the episode, it is available for you to check out. And that's all I got for you, friends. I do love and appreciate each and every one of you. I love you. Until next time, good night.
Friends, we thank you for joining Jen Cares this week. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Unable to watch us live? Be sure to find us on your favorite podcast platform. You can also visit our website, chozencounselors.com. That's Chozen with a Z, to stay in the know and most of all, never miss a show. If you found value in this show, we'd appreciate you sharing it with a friend. Most of all, be sure to tune in for our next episode as we specialize in bringing the community to you.